Every locomotive, rolling across thousands of miles of railroad tracks, depends on one component that few people ever think about: the wheel. It may look like nothing more than a giant piece of steel, but every railway wheel must withstand hundreds of thousands of pounds of weight, constant vibration, extreme temperatures, powerful braking forces, and millions of impacts throughout its service life. How does a glowing block of steel weighing hundreds of pounds become a precision-engineered wheel capable of traveling millions of miles? Today, we're taking you inside one of the world's most impressive heavy manufacturing industries to follow every stage of the railway wheel production process, from molten steel to the finished wheels carrying millions of trains around the world. If you enjoy seeing how giant factories, heavy industry, railroads, and mass production work, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss another documentary. For as long as railways have existed, engineers have been searching for stronger, safer, and longer-lasting wheels. The earliest railway wheels of the early 19th century were relatively simple cast-iron designs. They worked well enough for slow-moving wagons, but as locomotives became heavier and trains began traveling faster, those brittle wheels revealed a dangerous weakness. Small cracks could spread without warning. Entire wheels could shatter under heavy loads. As railroads expanded across Europe and North America during the Industrial Revolution, manufacturers gradually replaced cast iron with forged and rolled steel. The new material offered far greater strength, better resistance to impact, and a much longer service life under constant use. By the early 20th century, railway wheel production had evolved into a highly specialized industry. Giant hydraulic presses, powerful rolling mills, precision heat treatment furnaces, and advanced machining equipment transformed what had once been a simple metal casting into one of the most carefully engineered components on any train. Today, although trains are faster, heavier, and more powerful than ever before, the basic principle remains remarkably similar. Every railway wheel still begins as a solid piece of specially engineered steel. But turning that glowing steel into a perfectly balanced wheel, capable of surviving millions of miles on the rails, requires one of the most demanding manufacturing processes in modern heavy industry. Let's see how that journey begins. Large quantities of carefully selected raw materials are charged into an electric arc furnace or a basic oxygen furnace, depending on the steel plant's production system. Scrap steel, together with carefully controlled alloying materials, is melted at temperatures exceeding 1,600 degrees Celsius. As the steel becomes fully liquid, engineers monitor its chemical composition throughout the melting process. Even small variations in carbon or alloy content can influence hardness, wear resistance, toughness, fatigue life, and the wheel's ability to withstand years of continuous service. Once the desired composition has been achieved, the molten steel moves into secondary refining. Instead of pouring directly into wheel-shaped molds, manufacturers first produce massive cylindrical billets, or ingots. These large steel sections become the starting material for every wheel. Continuous casting machines slowly transform the glowing liquid steel into long, solid blooms or billets. Yet every finished wheel will begin from one of these solid pieces. However, the billets must once again be heated. At temperatures approaching 1,200 degrees Celsius, the steel becomes soft enough to be shaped by gigantic hydraulic presses. After several forging strokes, the once simple cylinder has become a thick steel disc. When tempering is complete, the wheel leaves the furnace and begins cooling toward room temperature. By now, its internal steel structure is much closer to the final requirement, but the outside still looks rough. The surface is covered with scale. The first operation removes the rough outer scale created during forging and heat treatment. Even a very small error can affect the force required during wheel set assembly. After the main machining operation, the wheel moves to another station for drilling and finishing. Depending on the design, holes may be added for identification, balancing, or specialized components. Sharp edges are removed, surfaces are cleaned, identification marks are stamped or engraved into the metal. These markings may include the manufacturer, steel grade, production date, heat number, wheel class, and serial information. This traceability allows every finished wheel to be connected with the steel batch and manufacturing records used during production. The wheel now looks complete, but appearance is not enough. Before it can enter railway service, the entire component must pass a series of inspections. The first checks are dimensional. Automated gauges measure the tread diameter, flange geometry, rim thickness, hub dimensions, web shape, and bore size. The machine compares each reading with the production specification. A wheel outside the allowable tolerance is separated from the line. Some dimensional errors may be corrected by additional machining. Others may cause the wheel to be rejected. The next inspection looks beneath the surface. Microscopic defects cannot always be seen from the outside. Internal cracks, inclusions, or voids may remain hidden inside the steel. Any deviation could produce vibration, uneven wear, or excessive force against the rail. From a block of specially engineered steel to a complete wheel set carrying freight or passengers, every stage is controlled. But every one of them is the result of heavy presses, precision tools, controlled furnaces, testing systems, and thousands of measurements. And while one completed wheel set leaves the factory, another glowing billet is already entering the forging line. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next documentary. Every day, thousands of freight trains move across more than 140,000 miles of active railroad track in the United States, carrying everything from coal and grain to automobiles, steel, chemicals, and shipping containers. Every one of those trains depends on steel rails capable of supporting enormous loads day after day for decades. A single modern rail can weigh more than 130 pounds per yard and must withstand millions of wheel impacts during its service life. But before a rail reaches a railroad, It passes through one of the most demanding manufacturing processes in the steel industry. Today, we're stepping inside America's rail manufacturing industry to see how massive steel blooms become railroad tracks. Before production begins, the steel plant receives its raw material. Carbon, manganese, silicon, and other alloying elements are carefully balanced because the final rail must combine high strength with excellent wear resistance. Before it can be shaped into a rail, it must be heated again. The blooms move into a reheating furnace where temperatures rise to approximately 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 1,200 degrees Celsius. Inside the furnace, steel gradually reaches a uniform temperature from surface to core. Heating evenly is important because cold areas can crack during rolling, while overheated sections may reduce final quality. Once the bloom reaches the required temperature, hydraulic pushers move it onto roller tables leading toward the rolling mill. Now the transformation begins. Massive steel rollers squeeze the bloom from both sides, reducing its thickness while increasing its length. One pass is not enough. The steel immediately moves into the next stand, then another, then another. Each rolling stand changes the shape a little more than the previous one. Intermediate stands continue refining the cross-section. Final finishing stands create the familiar rail profile with its wide head, narrow web, and broad base. Everything happens continuously. The steel never stops moving. It travels from one machine directly into the next while remaining red hot. Operators monitor rolling speed, steel temperature, roller pressure, and dimensional accuracy throughout the process. Small adjustments made during rolling prevent problems later in production. By the time the steel exits the finishing mill, it already looks like a railroad rail. But it is still glowing bright orange from the heat. The newly rolled rail may be over 80 feet long, depending on the production line. Modern mills producing long rails may roll even greater lengths before cutting. Roller tables support the rail as it leaves the mill, preventing bending while allowing it to cool gradually. Before cooling begins, the rail passes through a hot saw. This machine trims both ends and cuts the continuous steel into planned production lengths. From the saw, the rails move on to the cooling bed. The cooling bed is much longer than most people expect. Rows of rails rest side by side while cooling naturally under carefully controlled conditions. Cooling too quickly can create internal stress. Cooling unevenly may cause distortion. Large rollers apply carefully controlled force along the length of the rail until it meets precise straightness requirements. Laser measurement systems continuously check alignment throughout the process. Straightness matters. After straightening, each rail moves into dimensional inspection. Automatic gauges measure every important part of the profile: the width of the railhead, the thickness of the web, the width of the base, overall height. Every dimension must remain within strict manufacturing tolerances because every mile of railroad depends on consistent geometry. The rail has now reached its basic shape. It is straight, it has cooled, its dimensions have been verified. But before it can leave the factory, every rail must pass one of the most important quality control stages in the entire manufacturing process: internal inspection, because the most dangerous defects cannot be seen from the outside. The rails are then stacked into bundles using overhead cranes and prepared for shipment. From the factory, finished rails are transported by rail cars or heavy trucks to construction projects across the country. There, they will be installed as part of new railroad lines or replace worn sections on existing networks. The manufacturing process follows a simple sequence: produce the steel, heat the bloom, roll the rail, inspect it, cut or weld it, mark it, ship it. From a solid steel bloom to a finished railroad rail, every step is designed to produce a product strong enough to carry millions of tons of freight for decades.